Today I'm just gonna read to you guys the greatest challenge of the black male in today's society. Stay alive until you're 35. As we discuss the challenges that many black males have today, it's almost sad to think that a lifetime goal for millions, if not billions, of black males is just to survive until age 35. Now, when I say survive, I don't just mean be alive and have your heart beating. What I'm discussing is no jail, no drugs, no kids, no death. Excuse me. Those are the four things that destroy our community from the inside out. And it's the few things that we cannot blame any other race for. It's not white people killing black people. Yes, you see a little bit of that, but it's not as much as we love to continuously blame white people for. They're not the problem. We are the problem. We are the ones that kill ourselves. Yes, you'll see the headline that the white police killing a black person. All this does is instill in our minds that we should fear the white man. But as Tupac said, I'm told it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. So with that being said, it's not the white people that we need to fear. It's our own people. It's our leaders which are leading us to destruction. Why is it that every popular person in music genre is discussing drugs and violence? Is it a wonder why we are always killing each other? Why can't black people, black leaders, the ones who have influence over us, to do something that is great? Why do we always have to sell ourselves short for the mighty green dollar? All we care about is the dollar. But what do we really do with the money, honestly? Go buy jewelry? Go buy cars? If we investigate where the jewelry actually comes from, I can guarantee none of them have been to a mine and seen the actual work that goes into getting their jewelry. I doubt that any of them look and pay attention to the factories of their Louis Vuitton or their Jordan sneakers are made from. If they did, they would realize that they're wearing things off the backs of slave labor. Wait a minute. Could this be that the same people in America that want Americans and white people to give them more, extra and extra and extra because they went through slavery, but buy things on a daily basis created by slaves? If we want to be recognized as a nation that went through slavery, it's hard for the world to have sympathy when we are contributing to slave labor worldwide every day. The title of this goal is to stay alive until you're 35. When I was younger, I read a book by Michael Eric Dyson, Holler If You Hear Me. It discusses Tupac Shakur's life. What stood out to me the most was when Dyson discussed the real observation. He reveals that if Malcolm X died at age 35, the same age Tupac did, he would have been known as Detroit Red, and we would never heard of Malcolm X. Why is this important? We have Tupac, one of the most influential black people in the history of our time. We still, to this day, he's been dead for over 20 years. Talk about him, we can still turn on a record and listen to his message. For he has not died, it's still relevant today. What Dyson discusses is true. It's unbelievably true because in my own life experience, I've experienced what he discusses. Tupac's message was amazing, but it was wrong. It was wrong. It was a wrong message. What Tupac wanted to do is the wrong message for what Tupac wanted to do. He wanted to unite people and be a revolutionary, which would have happened if he had matured into an adult. Tupac's message and delivery being analyzed again by me at age 35. He died when I was 10 or 12, or 12 or 13, excuse me, and made it too difficult for this difficult landmark. Or I made it to this difficult landmark. I realized his mentality was that of a juvenile. He might have had the vision of other great visionaries and the wisdom of Galileo, but maybe C. Dolores Tucker was right. As we look at 20 to 25 years later, the rise of violence among black communities has gone up. Incarceration rates gone up. I'm not saying it was just Tupac's fault, by no means. During that same era, we were discussing music and video games and the after effects of both. Everything Congress was trying to fight from happening happened. Mass shooting. It has become cool to be under an influence of mind-altering substances. It's true that video games and music influence the future, and if we don't stop and make a stand now, then we'll have an epidemic of young black males never seeing the age of 35, which is the true goal of any black male, is to make it past 35. Because after 35, there's a shift. I don't know what it is. It's a weird shift. And if you're over 35, hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. In your 20s, you think you're Superman. You can do anything. When you turn about 30, you start realizing that you're not young anymore and don't want to do dumb things anymore. When you're 35, it's like a click goes off in your brain. You don't want to play games anymore. You're not as apt to have as many friends as you did when you were in your 20s, so you're not as influenced by other people. You become a man. Kids, wait until you're 35. This is what most professional people do. This has many benefits. At age 35, you're much more stable. We have had more life experiences. We allowed ourselves to build a sturdy foundation. I'm not saying your wife, your girlfriend needs to be 35, just us black men. Kids will kill you. How can you grow if you're 18 years old and already have another life you're responsible for? How can you make the best decision for your future when you need diapers today? Most importantly, how do you know you'll even like your baby's mother in 5 to 10 years? Neither one of you have given yourself time to explore what motivates yourself. The truth is, the choices we make every day has a direct consequence in our future, whether good or bad. If you do not have the money to take care of yourself, you do not have a car, you do not have an apartment, you do not have a steady job, you don't have savings, then why would you want to bring another person into this world? That is unbelievably irresponsible and a sign of being immature. I'm not telling you what to do, but I am telling you that you're being irresponsible and you're setting yourself up for failure. If you decide to give yourself a chance in this life and you wait until you're older, not only do you give yourself a better life, but also your offspring will have a better life as well. Okay. We all glorify Pablo Escobar as being like Don Dada, the one we aspire to become, right? The epitome of being a gangster. But then we look at how much money he actually made, 10 to 20 billion. Bill Gates is destroying him, Mark Zuckerberg destroying him, Jeff Bezos destroying him, Oprah Winfrey is destroying him. I want to talk about power and might. Those 4 people that I just mentioned can buy a whole army. Combined, I would imagine their net worth is more than the entire country of Colombia. Why are we aspiring to become a gangster? We all know the end result. It's either death or jail. There's no third option. You're not retiring with trumpets, a nice little watch when you graduate from the game. On the contrary, you're getting flowers because they're putting them on your grave. Or you're getting letters because you're in a concrete jail cell, also a grave. As I finalize this final thought, I really want to make it known that I'm not talking to talk. I'm disgusted how we treat each other. I'm disgusted that it has become cool for us to take drugs and be intoxicated or inebriated, or for lack of better words, fucked up. I'm disgusted with how we dress. I'm disgusted with our lack of manners. I'm disgusted in how the women in this world feel they need to dance half naked to get people's attention. Like that's not going to have a drastic effect on our kids. I'm just ashamed of what we've become as a nation of black people as a whole. We forget that we need to join together, but instead, we always fight each other. We blame other people for our problems. If we took 5 minutes and blame ourselves, just for 5 minutes, it would change the world. We'd rather just be hurtful to people without having to take any responsibility. Because if you blame somebody else for your problems, then you never have to look in the mirror and realize that you made bad choices. It's always someone else's fault. This last week was a very sad moment for me. I was called at 5 o'clock in the morning. My uncle was calling me to tell me my little brother just shot and killed somebody. Well, they don't know if it was him completely. However, he's the main suspect. In my biased eyes, he was justified. He killed him for a good reason. He killed him because he was trying to rob him. The kid was 18, didn't even have a chance to learn anything about anything. I'm old enough to be the kid's father. Just that fast, his life is gone. 2 black people taken off the streets for what reason? Please explain. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Why do we have to rob each other? Why do we have to kill each other? Why do we have to sell drugs? Why can't we just educate ourselves? We've become a nation of losers. And I'm going to say it again. We've become a nation of losers. We want to take drugs where we don't read books. We don't educate ourselves. We just want to be gangsters. The saddest, disgusting display of black people ever in a human race of people. We do it every day. We need to change our ways. We need to change the way we treat each other. We need to change our mentalities. Where we no longer want to be the hardest and the toughest, where we aspire to be the smartest and the most well-mannered. The whole world looks at us, black. The whole world looks at us, at our irresponsible activities, and they follow us. So we have the power in the world, but yet we don't use it for anything but self-gain and destruction of other people. We're teaching the entire world to do that. And it's disgusting to see, and it needs to stop. Our epidemic will be realized, and none of us will make it to age 35 if we don't do something now. We don't look in the mirror and start blaming ourselves for our own problems and finding a way home. The black male can no longer live in his life in jail and live his life being ignorant. Yes, I understand everything is stacked up against us. But does that mean we fold, or does that mean that we fight? All right, we fight, right? And what I mean by fighting, we fight for our lives. We fight to stay alive until we're 35. We don't just give in to what the world wants us to become. The world wants us to be a gone, distant memory. In another paper I'm writing, I'll explain what I mean by this, exactly what is expected of us, and in the exact way that we eradicate ourselves from the history books. And if we don't stop, it's going to happen. It's already happened before, right? They've already erased us from history once before, right? It's already happened before. In the pictures of history books today, everybody's white. I plead with everybody out there. Please stop with the bebop, stop with the murders, stop with the violent games, and start with gardens and books and other positive activities. Imagine a world where kids can go outside and play freely without the distraction or without the fear of being another statistic.